Hey everyone, it's Samantha. So I know it's been a while since I've updated. Today is March 5th, 2012. Sorry, my dogs are griping at each other. Anyway, or at the cows. I think they're at the cows across the street. I think that's what they're kind of griping about. Anyway, today's March 5th, 2012. It's day 13. I'm at T minus 16, and Trey is at T minus 18. No real symptoms left. Uh, the headaches are gone. The fatigue is gone. My mood tends to be a lot better. Um, let's see. The hunger is pretty much gone. There, every once in a while, the kids will be eating something that I'm like, oh man, that looks really good. But other than that, it's not really all that big of an issue. I'm hungry first thing in the morning, and then usually again about 6 or so o'clock at night. Now, again, this might be a little bit TMI, but it is something that you should know. For me anyway, usually after my morning juice, within about a half an hour of the morning juice, I get a call to go to the ladies' room. And it's not really all that bad, but it's there. And I think it's just more toxins continuing to be released. While you're doing this, your body is releasing some toxins, and it's a very good idea to at least drink a lot of water. Some people do like colonics or enemas, and I'm not doing that. But some people swear by it. So, I've heard that if you have impacted matter in your colon, that when you're not eating, you don't have anything pushing that through, and so some of the toxins that are being released are just being reabsorbed into the colon. So you should do a colonic or an enema or whatever to release some of that stuff. I'm not doing that, and neither is Trey. So, but I just wanted to put that out there. Do get a little rumbly in the tumbly, and you do get a call to go to the bathroom, but I think, like I said, it's just more toxins sort of being expelled. So, not to be gross, and I'm sorry if I gross everybody out, but it is something for those of you that are looking into doing this. You should know. So, my best friend Kara and another friend, I didn't get permission to use her name, so I'm not going to. Anyway, Kara and another friend of mine came by on Saturday, and it had been about a week since Kara saw me last, and she said that she could tell just in that week that I'd lost weight. So that's kind of where we're at. My jeans are still sort of fitting the same. I don't know what's up with that. I do know that, again, part of the problem is that I'm not exercising, and that I just haven't made it a priority, and I know that I need to, and I'm not sure what's stopping me from doing it. I have excuses of, well, I have all the kids, and I have the show that I'm directing, and I have this, and I have that, but other people have those things, and they're still able to find time to exercise too. So, I guess I just have to make it a priority, and that's difficult for me. I don't know about any other women out there. I do know that for me, we get advice all the time to make sure that we take care of ourselves, because if we don't, we can't take care of anybody else. But if I spend time on doing something for me, and me alone, like exercise, or even, painting my toenails sometimes, I feel guilty. I feel like I should be doing something else. I should be cleaning the house, or playing with the kids, or whatever. And I'm having a hard time figuring out the balance between my obligation to myself and my obligation to my family. If anyone has any tips out there, let me know. I don't just mean a pep talk. I mean, I know that I need to be taking care of myself, and I know that I need to be making myself a priority, but it's difficult. I find it difficult. So anyway, that's my little, I don't know what to do here part. And let's see, I think that's all I had. I know Trey still hasn't made it on. It's been crazy busy around here. There was a story, somewhat locally. There's a town that's probably about an hour and a half, not quite away, here in New Mexico. And a little boy well, his name's been in the media, so I assume it's okay to use. A little boy by the name of Samuel Jones. I'm sorry. He fell down an empty, I guess an empty well. I'm not exactly sure. There was a hole in his neighbor's yard they say it was about 14 inches wide, but it went 30 feet deep, and he fell in and he passed away recently. Yesterday, Saturday, and they finally pulled out his little body today, and I'm trying not to get choked up here. Because of that, Trey and I were planning on renovating our bedroom. That's one of the last areas in the house. When we first bought this house, there was a lot of renovations that had to take place. The wall that you see behind me was white with it looked like they used like a stencil of an ivy and a sponge, but the stencil got wet where it moved, so it just kind of looked like big green blobs over the top. So we had to fix that. And behind me, I know you can't really see, but behind me, what you see in the other room is actually the fireplace. And all around the fireplace when we first moved in was very 1970s, early 80s looking wood paneling, and we ripped all that down and had to paint the walls. Anyway, sorry, tangent. Our bedroom is one of the last things that we haven't been able to do. Our bedroom does not look like a bedroom. It's just a place where we sleep, and we want to give ourselves a little retreat. So we had planned on using some money that we have sort of put aside and renovating it. And then little Samuel passed away, and we live on a very busy country road, and the speed limit's 45, and half the people that drive that don't follow that speed limit. And little man, Ian, the 2-year-old, his name is Ian, he knows how to work the door locks, and I'm just so scared that he's going to open the door when I'm in the ladies' room, or if I'm feeding the dogs or whatever, and he's going to go run out into that street. So instead of renovating our room, we are actually calling a contractor in today. At least one, if not a couple of contractors we're going to call and see about putting a fence up around our front yard, so that it's another stopgap between us and the road. Because he's 2, he doesn't know not to go running, and then the older ones, they know not to go run in the street. But I mean, we have so many kids here of various ages, and I really would not want for one of them to kick a ball into the road and feel like they're on a small residential street instead of on a country road. Again, it's pretty busy. I bet you we have, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 cars go by an hour. I mean, it's fairly constant. There's always traffic. And so in order to kind of have an extra preventative measure for our kiddos, we're going to, instead of renovate our room, we're going to put up that fence. So anyway, my heart goes out to the family of little Samuel. I cannot imagine, and I've cried and I've prayed, and I don't know what good it does, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know them personally, but he was a 4-year-old, and it's pretty scary. So luckily we haven't had anything near that drastic happen to us and our kids, and I just pray that it continues. The worst thing that's happened with us is Chance, our 12-year-old son, broke his arm when he was 7 or 8. Brianna has had 2 mysterious illnesses that landed her in the hospital for a week at a time, and then she had her appendix removed. And that was an ordeal because her appendix didn't swell, it just died, and her body started to reject it. So she was having severe stomach pains and she had all the other symptoms, but when they felt, it wasn't swollen, so they just thought maybe she had an upset stomach or whatever, until one day, and I believe she was also 7, she couldn't walk at all. So I had taken her to doctor. We took her to 3 different doctors 3 days in a row, and we got 3 different diagnoses. And so finally, when she couldn't walk, she was in so much pain, I went ahead and took her to the emergency room where she had her appendix removed. And that's what they went in for exploratory surgery. We didn't know what was wrong when she went in for surgery, and that's what they had found, was that her appendix had a food particle or some sort of a not a blood clot, but something else that had blocked the blood flow to it, and it died. So anyway, we've had that. Faith really hasn't had anything. She's our 7.5, almost 8-year-old, and then Ian got mono, of all things. For those of you who don't know us, he got mono. He's only 2, and we thought that maybe, well, first he was tired a lot. We just thought maybe he was growing, and then he got the sniffles and he had a runny nose, and we thought it was just a cold. Well, then he developed sores in his mouth and a really sore throat, and so they treated him for thrush and an ear infection and a really bad cold, and that just made it, he just got worse and worse and worse. Well, then they put him on an antibiotic, and apparently then he broke out in a rash. When after we gave him the antibiotic, he started to break out in a rash, and within, I guess it was probably 4 to 6 hours, they went from tiny little red pinprick marks, it looked like, to huge welts and hives and stuff all over his body, and he was just covered head to toe in this hot pink and red rash. And so we took him back to the doctor, and again, he had been to the doctor several times. We took him back to the doctor, and they freaked out and said that he had the measles, which he's not fully immunized. When he was 4 months old, he had a bad reaction to his immunizations, and I have not continued his immunizations due to that. So anyway, they thought, hey, he had the measles. We were, rushed to Lubbock, and he was put into the children's hospital emergency room, and the doctors came in and they tested him, and they said, it doesn't look like measles. I don't think it's measles. We're going to go ahead and test him. He tested negative for measles, but he did test positive for mono. He was severely dehydrated. He wouldn't eat because of his sore throat. After about a day and a half on the medication that they sent us home with, he was doing much better. And then I got mono. I had never had it before, and so I don't even know. Oh, I was saying that's kind of the worst that we've really had to deal with. Bumps and bruises, and we've also had a couple of toenails that fell off because something got dropped on the toenail, and so the blood came and it started to bleed up underneath, and it turned black and the toenail fell off. Not really all that huge of a deal, knock on wood. So anyway, that was the long way around me saying to the Jones family, you're in our prayers. We are thinking about you, and we are doing our best to try to prevent the same sort of tragedy happening to us. Anyway, so that was the long way around me saying that Trey won't be on today either. So anyway, I think I've kind of jammered on long enough. It's been 14 minutes and 12 seconds. So day 13, T minus 16 pounds for me, T minus 16 or 18 pounds for Trey. And actually, I do have a bit of news, but I think I'm going to keep that for tomorrow. It's nothing too major. But anyway, we will talk to you guys later. Have a great and wonderful Monday, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.